What is up, guys? We are back again with another episode of this tips, tricks, whatever kind of stuff. And in today's episode, we are just going to discuss a question you can ask yourself whenever you are interpreting a claim, research, basically any statement in this whole health and fitness realm, right? And the question you can ask yourself is, who is this population, right? Or who are these populations, you know? And what I mean by that is, whatever claim you see stated, whether it's fish oils do this, you know, this training program does this exercise is best for this, you know, you have to ask yourself, who is the population this person is speaking to, right? Because quite often you hear conflicting claims and you can be confused as to what you should actually do, purely because the messages you are listening to are coming from different sources who are speaking to different populations, of which you don't fall into, you know, or you may fall into, but you're actually listening to other advice that, you know, is influencing your thought processes, but you're not the population that person is speaking to, right? So things can get kind of confusing, and you effectively just can bypass all of this by asking yourself, who is the population? Like what population is this for, right? And if you're confused, ask the person making the claim, who is this population? Like what population is this for, right? Because quite often you'll see people make these broad statements like the keto diet is best, full stop, right? And like there's no one best diet for all populations. Like even if you just go to a gym, this is pretty evident. There's people trying to lose weight. There's people trying to, you know, maximize performance. There's people trying to gain weight. The diet strategies they employ, the setup of their diet, it's not going to be the same. Yes, it's based on the same fundamental principles, but the actual specifics, which is generally what the claims are not the same, right? You know, saying that, oh, a high fat diet is the way to go if you want to gain muscle, you know, it's maybe not, you know, it's probably not for you as an individual, you know, it might work for this person, but it's not going to work for you, you know? So you have to take into account what is the population being talked to, like who are they? Like it's a simple question, and it gets rid of so much fluff that you're exposed to and so much, you know, bad information purely because it's not for you. You know, the intent of the author or the person giving the information is good generally, you know, and you're just misinterpreting it because you're not the population they're speaking to. And this can get really like applicable to quite a lot of people that are likely listening to this, because you'll see yourselves following information or gaining information from people who are, say, like bodybuilders, for example. And you would think that because these people have mastered body composition, because realistically that's what they have done, they get the leanest, they get the most muscular, and you can look to that and go, obviously I want to build some muscle and I want to lose some fat, so I'm going to go to the person that can do it best. And it's a very simple thought process, and it makes sense, right? However, quite often they're speaking to other bodybuilders with the information they provide, you know, and you see this a lot with this whole debate about, you know, what is the best training method? Is it, you know, going to failure, or is it keeping some reps in reserve? And it kind of just, it's just a load of circle jerking, because it's not actually helping the individuals who are listening to the information. Because if you think about it, the majority of people are not bodybuilders, and really they're the only population that should consider this kind of stuff, you know, because we're talking about minuscule differences, and we're not layering onto it the fact that most people have real lives, real jobs, kids, family, work, all these other commitments, all these other stressors, and, you know, a certain modality may be better for you, but the opposite modality may be better for the bodybuilder. And because you're listening to the bodybuilder, you're kind of going, oh, well, that's what I must do. And then you try it, the wheels fall off the wagon, and you think you are broken. But that's not the actual truth. The actual truth is the population they were speaking to, or they perhaps didn't even know they were speaking to it, or they didn't specify that they were speaking to it, but they were speaking to a different population than you, right? So take from this video this one tip to change your life, whatever you want to think of it like, you know, just ask yourself or ask the author, what's the population? Like, who are we speaking to, right? And you will be surprised by how much you actually start to see that the information you're exposed to is not helping you, you know? And this is especially true on social media because, again, like, you know, attractive physiques, you know, being shredded, being really muscular, like it sells, you know? So you can be exposed to a lot of information that simply isn't what you actually as an individual need to be exposed to, you know? And I'm not saying we do the best of like, telling everyone exactly the population that we're speaking to, but you can still ask that question, whether you're getting information from us, whether you're getting information from a bodybuilder, a strength and conditioning coach, a power lifter, like whatever it is, like just ask yourself, when they give you information, when they say this is the way you should do this, just ask yourself, am I the same population? If not, does this information apply to me? And quite often you'll find that it doesn't, you know? And this again has implications for, you know, we'll call it body composition, health focused people, but it also has implications for people who are engaged in, say, sports and stuff, you know? Because again, like you could be looking at this and go, I want to improve my body composition for my sport. And all of a sudden you're exposed to a load of like bodybuilding stuff, and that's not actually going to be beneficial for your sport. You know, you need more kind of, we'll call it sports specific work, and, you know, maybe the training modalities that they employ to get into the best shape, to get into the most muscular, leanest shape, aren't the same strategies you would need to employ so that you can actually get better at your sport while trying to build muscle, get stronger, that kind of stuff, you know? So always take the population into account. And again, this does also apply to research, because again, we're not just talking about the lower level, you know, health and fitness influencers or whatever. Like far too often you will find research cited and it's not in the population that the person citing the research is actually talking about, you know? Like you'll find stuff that's like this training modality or this micronutrient, this nutrient, this phytonutrient, whatever, some sort of supplement they're selling, and they're like, it increases testosterone 300,000% or some other ridiculous claim, and you're like, Jesus, that sounds awesome. But then you look at the study that they're citing and it's like in rodents, you know, so it's never even been shown in humans, or it's, you know, in the elderly, or what you'll see often in like resistance training stuff, it's in beginners, and effectively anything works in beginners, you know. So you just have to ask yourself, like, am I the population being spoken to? If you're not the population, you've then interpret that information and layer it onto your specifics as a population, you know? And if you have trouble doing that, and you're like, I don't know if I can evaluate this claim based on, you know, it says it's in OAPs, but it seems to maybe apply to, you know, resistance trained individuals. It might have that. Like, you can always ask in our free group. That's why we're there for that, you know, just to actually help you cut through all this kind of bullshit that you get exposed to and help you actually make the educated choices that you need to do to actually get the results that you want. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you enjoyed this. If you do have any questions, comments, issues, whatever, just drop them below. And of course, drop this a like. It does help with that YouTube algorithm. And I hope you have an awesome day.